Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for another live Aladir 2025 event. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today, and we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live Aladir event. For those joining us for the first time, let us introduce ourselves. Aladir is the Latin America Association for Desalination and Water Reuse, focused on promoting timely knowledge in desalination and water reuse technologies. We are excited to have these spaces as a channel for information on several technical topics of interest to the water industry. Today, we are joined by our partner company AGRU and their representative, Daniel Fechtig. He's the project business manager, and Francisco Pizarro. He's the general manager for AGRU in Brazil and Chile. They will be speaking about clean water for the future, plastic solution for the entire value chain. I would like to let you know that you can leave your questions and comments for Daniel and Francisco in the LinkedIn chat, and we will open up the Q&A session at the end to address all your concerns, okay? It's important also to let you know that this recording will be available on our YouTube channel for later viewing, or if you want to share it with interest parties. Okay, so let's go on. Daniel and Francisco, welcome. Thank you both, and to AGRU for your participation.
Thank you, Gundi. Gracias, Gundi. Daniel, a pleasure having you here. You'll take you too much time. Solo una breve presentación para todo en español, sabiendo de que el seminario principalmente será en inglés. Mi nombre es Francisco Pizarro, soy el gerente general para AGRU en Brasil y Chile. Es un gusto, primero que todo, y estar con ustedes el día de hoy. Agradecidos también a Aladir por permitirnos presentando y participar de este importante evento. Con nosotros está Daniel Fechtig, que es el jefe de desarrollo de negocios para AGRU a nivel mundial. Nos va a hablar acerca de la serie de soluciones que tenemos como compañía para desarrollar una infraestructura más robusta de evento y con soluciones en termoplásticos nosotros a la altura, sobre todo de desalinización, tratando de más tiempo la presentación de Daniel. Él va a realizar la presentación en inglés y yo me sumaré al final para algunos comentarios en español. Daniel, all yours. Thank you again for your support today.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, okay, can you maybe switch on my presentation?
Sure.
Yes,
Right.
perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Also welcome from my side, and thank you very much for this kind introduction. I would like to also start right away. My name is Daniel Fechtig, and as my two colleagues already introduced, I would like to give you today some information about how plastics can ensure a clean water for the future and for the entire value chain. So before I start going into technical details, I would like to introduce shortly our company in Austria. So our company has its headquarters in Austria with facilities worldwide, branches worldwide. We do plastics technology. We produce plastics fittings, valves. We produce extruded pipes, extruded sheets for different applications. And we are supplying customers and projects worldwide. Our mission, so to say, is to supply high quality plastics technology that makes our customers from different industries successful worldwide. And what we always say is that we are not only producing plastics products, we also want to bring solutions to our customers that they are successful in their projects and in their different tasks they have. Our product range covers different piping systems ranging from water and gas piping over chemical piping for the chemical process industry, ultra pure water piping, customized solutions, semi-finished products. Then we have solutions for concrete protection and also lining systems, for example, for landfill applications. The products are all applied in the water industry, but the main focus of today will be, of course, our water piping system, and maybe I will show you also some examples for concrete protection and also the chemical piping. But the main focus will be on the water piping. Yes. So, water is life. That's very important. Water is very important to maintain the function of the human body. For example, we use water in different industries. In the hydrogen economy, it's important for industries like data centers. They are now popping up everywhere. Here also a lot of water is used, but the most important thing of water is it should be clean and it should be drinkable. And that's something what is also always in our scope of activities, that we support customers in the business of the water industry to really supply clean water and prevent water loss where it is not acceptable. And I've tried to subdivide my presentation today into different points, and I've tried to do it in a way that there is that the whole value chain of water is covered, starting from the purification, desalination process, then through the water transport, the storage of water in reservoirs, then also the different usage phases of water. There is, for example, irrigation. There are different industries where water is very important for cooling, for example. Then also in the household for drinking water, for tap water. So there are different ways to use water. And finally, what is also very important, water also needs to be recovered again, recycled again. So wastewater is getting more and more important. Wastewater treatment, drainage systems, and finally the treatment, the reclaim of water. So this is something what is very important, that you have really a full circle of water usage. And actually, in all of these phases of the water circle, plastics products can be applied. Starting with the purification and desalination of water. So as you all know, I think many of you are experts in the field of desalination. There is one important aspect. That's the seawater intake to bring the salt water from the ocean to the land, and this is usually done with large diameter piping. I mean, they can also be done in GRP or other materials, but in our case, of course, it's recommended to use polyethylene in this case. Yeah. So there are large diameter pipes bringing the water onshore. Then the water is usually stored. It's stored in basins for sedimentation, in sedimentation tanks. Then there are different pre-filtering steps until the water is then finally really desalinated in reverse osmosis, in the reverse osmosis process. And after that, there are also different treatment steps again. Then there will be storage and the transport to the different usage, to the different usage areas where water is then finally used. Yeah. And in all these processes, you can use plastics products. The first thing, what I mentioned before, is the water intake and outfall. So in this case, usually we use a polyethylene pipe. We can produce this pipe up to a diameter of 3.5 meters. In typical large-scale desalination projects, this diameter ranges from 2 meters to around about 3 meters. But we can do this up to 3.5 meters. Yeah? And this is an example of a project, in this case in Singapore. The pressure rating, the SDR ratio in this case was 21 to 26. And this is a seawater intake pipeline, what you see here, and also we have done here brine outfall pipelines in this case. Yeah, the welding is in this case a butt fusion. I will show you some examples later on. And the butt fusion is of course done onshore. Then the pipe is floated. Yeah. So it's still filled with air in this case. Yeah. So the pipe is floated on the ocean. It's pulled into the water and placed into its final position. Then subsequently the valves are opened, the water flows into the pipe, and there is a controlled sinking process. And what you already can see here, due to the flexibility of the pipeline of polyethylene, it's a very flexible material, so you can bend it very easily to a certain radius. It's a very controlled and also easy way of sinking as compared to other materials. The pipe is then connected to the intake structure on the ocean ground, and finally the pipe is backfilled with material to protect it and to keep it into place. Yeah. What I mentioned before, very important point in all the installations we have throughout our projects is the welding technology. You can compare it with a Formula One car. So the chassis and the motor, it's the pipe and the fittings, and the welding technology, it's the wires, the tires. Yeah, the tires. They bring the full power onto the street, and that's like the welding technology in our case. So there are basically two welding technologies for polyethylene piping. One is called electro socket welding. You have special fittings for that with an integrated copper wire. And you take the two pipes, you insert it into the electro socket fitting. You apply a certain voltage, a certain electric current. The wire inside the fitting gets hot and welds the two pipe pieces together. We have the machines for that. We have the welding technology for that, and it's a perfect standardized system in this case. Yeah, and a very safe system to fuse two pipes together. The second connection technology is called butt welding, and the process is yeah, it's not too different, but what you are using here is another type of machine. You are planarizing the two pipes in the first place. Then you have a heating element which heats up to a certain temperature. You press the two pipes onto the heating element, wait for some time, remove the heated tool, and then press the two pipes together. And with a controlled pressure, with a controlled time, with a controlled heating time, then these two pipes are perfectly homogeneously welded together. So that's the two very important welding technologies you use usually when installing piping. So one example to demonstrate how easy it is and how easy it is to really do welding is our spigot saddle top load system. Yeah, that's a kind of an electro socket fitting where you can create branches on, for example, large or small diameter pipes. This is usually used for diffusers, manholes, or also intake heads, for example, in the desalination plant. Yeah, and the good thing is that you can do it on site. So you can do it very easily with the machines you have on site. You can do the welding, but we can also supply this from our headquarter or from our branches and bring it to the different project sites, like you prefer, so to say. Another very important thing in desalination is the chlorination line. So you have ocean water, you have seawater. There is usually, if you do it incorrectly, you will have marine fouling. You will have clogging. You will have damage to the function of the seawater intake line. Yeah, and what you usually do, you apply some kind of chemical treatment to the water in order to prevent that. And there are basically two options how you can do that. One is to put the chlorination line externally onto the intake pipe, and another option, which is usually also recommended from our company, is to put the chlorination line internally, so into the pipe, into the intake pipe. Yeah, and so that's one thing. And what we also usually recommend is to really use the proper material for this application. We have seen a lot of applications where a chlorination line was done in the incorrect material or with the incorrect connection technology, and after some months of operation, the pipe broke, or there were leakages. So if you do it right, you will have safe operation and a long lifetime. And usually what we recommend for this application, especially when you use sodium hypochlorite, which is mainly used for seawater intake lines, we recommend to use ECTFE. It's a special kind of polymer, a fluoropolymer in this case, and this is the perfect material for this application. It has long lifetime, you can weld it perfectly, and you will have usually no issue when you install it correctly, no issue over the whole lifetime of the full system. So you might have some more capex in the beginning, but the opex of the whole system will be much better in the end. When we take a next step in onshore, so into the desalination building, there are a few things what we can do. So we can install different piping in the different pre-filtering steps, but where in the central process of reverse osmosis, so where the actual desalination is going on, there is a very important system we usually supply, and these are these permeate reverse osmosis spools. We can do this in polyethylene. We can also do it in polypropylene, depending on the application and depending on the process conditions. The positive thing of plastics material in this case is that you can really make a very you can really do a a perfect designing of the whole system. So you can make the branchings, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, depending on what your specific project really requires. And like with the branchings I've shown you before, we can do this. We can do the full system, the full pre-welding in our headquarters, or an installation company can do this on the job site, depending on what is really required from your project. Yeah. So that was some examples of different applications in the desalination plant. Now a short interruption into some basic ideas about operating pressure. For some of you who don't know, the maximum operating pressure for water applications in a polyethylene pipe is 25 bar. In this case, you have to use an SDR, a standard dimension ratio of 7.4. The usual standard dimension ratios are actually 17 or 11, which results into a maximum operating pressures of 10 bar or 16 bar for water applications. That is a certified system, and it ensures an expected lifetime of 50 years for your system. Yeah, so now I would like to give you also some insight into the pros and into the pros of plastics piping system and compare it to different other materials. So plastics piping in general and polyethylene in the specific case has a very high resistance to chemicals and corrosion, which is very important for desalination projects because they are exposed to aggressive seawater, for example, or also to chemicals. Then abrasion is another very important point. It's resistant to different failure modes. I will show you some examples later on. And the lifetime is usually more than 50 years for this application, which is also very important. Yeah, fast installation. I've already shown you some examples. There is excellent weldability. The weldability is standardized, so you can really do quality checks. You can do documentation, and if you do it correctly, you can be sure that you have a leak-tight system, which is very important for water applications because you don't want to have any water losses. Yeah, flexibility is also another thing. Low brittleness, high safety, less joints. So you have also faster installation times and so on. Yeah, plastics can be applied from -40 degrees Celsius to 140 degrees Celsius. We also have plastics for higher temperatures, but usually they are not applied in the water industry. Yeah, the plastics products are approved and certified for different applications, for different industries. And yeah, another aspect, microorganism resistance, it's also something what is exceptional for plastics, also because of the smoothest surface. So there is the microorganisms, they are not that it's not that likely that they adhere to the surface. So this leads also to lowest maintenance, operational safety is increased, and also if you have a clean pipe, if you have a smooth surface, the pumping energy is of course less as compared to other materials. Yeah, here is a very nice example. Metallic pipes, they are of course, sometimes they are corroding. A plastic pipe is not corroding. That was an easy example. Another example is the flexibility. So you usually need less joints. You need less work as compared to FRP pipes because they are very stiff. So you need to have more fittings in order to make directional changes. This is much easier when you use it's much easier when you use the when you
¿Ocurrió algo? No te escucho, Gundy. Perdón.
Sí, qué pena, estaba el micrófono. Se le cayó la conexión a Daniel.
Ahí sí. We lost Daniel?
Yeah.
He's writing me that it seems to having issues with internet. Yes. Bueno, por el momento, mientras lo resolvemos, si quiere, Gundy, puedes avanzar con la presentación y yo puedo continuar. Al fin y al cabo, una presentación que he realizado muchas oportunidades mientras Daniel resuelve sus problemas de internet. Si quieres, la proyectas y podemos avanzar. Pero por el momento, a ver, creo que se han levantado puntos muy interesantes vinculados a la fiabilidad de los sistemas termoplásticos de AGRU. Comentamos acerca de, por supuesto, nos hemos enfocado bastante en todo lo que es desalación, tratamiento, reuso. Hablamos, por supuesto, de los principales atributos que efectivamente se están mostrando ahí, que tienen que ver con los atributos de los termoplásticos. Nosotros en AGRU manejamos básicamente, lo denominamos la pirámide de los termoplásticos, siendo obviamente la base el polietileno y el polipropileno, que son termoplásticos, polímeros bastante versátiles desde el punto de vista, sobre todo para transmisión de fluidos, agua en específico. Pero a medida que las situaciones y los proyectos se complejizan, básicamente por concentraciones de ácidos o básicamente temperaturas, es necesario termoplásticos parcial o totalmente fluorados que estén a la altura. Estamos hablando, por supuesto, del PBF o CTF. Por eso, efectivamente, Daniel estuvo hablando acerca de las tuberías para cloración, que es un fenómeno muy vinculado, por supuesto, a proyectos de desalación. Hemos, bueno, participado probablemente en las siguientes diapositivas. Daniel va a presentar algunos proyectos de desalación que hemos desarrollado a nivel mundial, pero efectivamente es un fenómeno el cual atacamos muy bien, sobre todo considerando los fenómenos que se generan en ese tipo de proyectos. También, obviamente, la posibilidad, por supuesto, de que los termoplásticos específicamente sean capaces de tener una mayor flexibilidad, su fácil soldabilidad, su peso, y sobre todo, insisto, cuando estamos hablando de una mayor complejidad en la instalación, o mejor dicho, una mayor complejidad en la demanda, es posible utilizar algún tipo de termoplástico como los que tenemos ya sea parcial o totalmente fluorados dentro de nuestro portafolio. Lo que comentaba efectivamente Daniel con respecto a una mayor inversión inicial, efectivamente un mayor CAPEX, que obviamente va a incidir un menor OPEX, y eso es una de las principales virtudes de AGRU, de ser un especialista en termoplásticos y de poder desarrollar soluciones con vías útiles extensas. Bueno, ya probablemente Daniel, que creo que se está reconectando, vamos a poder ver sobre todo en todo lo que son plantas de desalación, plantas de tratamiento. Hemos desarrollado plantas de tratamiento alrededor del mundo, todo lo que son sistemas también de protección de concreto, que también lo vamos a poder presentar. Un gran rango. Si quieres, volvamos a la presentación, Gundi. Yo sigo mientras Daniel se está efectivamente reconectando. Bueno, hablábamos de la flexibilidad, de las principales virtudes, sobre todo el polietileno, de ser extremadamente flexible, capaz de flectarse una gran cantidad de veces por su diámetro, versus otro tipo de soluciones como el acero o la fibra de vidrio, que son extremadamente rígidas. ¿Okay? Sigamos con la siguiente slide. Probablemente también desde el punto de vista de la abrasión, es una de las principales virtudes, y no hablo solo únicamente del polietileno, sino efectivamente dentro del rango de las soluciones de AGRU tenemos, como les comentamos, manejar otro tipo de materiales como el polipropileno, el SPC, el PVDF, el CEP y el PFA, que tienen diferentes características desde el punto de vista de su resistencia a la abrasión. Son sistemas extremadamente lisos, por así llamarlo, que nos van a permitir poder trabajar ante demandas de altísima abrasión y por lo tanto ser soluciones que obviamente sufren una menor abrasión. Bueno, ahí podemos más adelante a quienes lo soliciten. De hecho, tenemos un chat dentro de la asociación de Aladir, donde encantado les puedo compartir algunos resultados de las diferentes pruebas que se hacen versus el acero, versus la fibra de vidrio, versus el concreto, lo que hace, por supuesto, y es efectivamente lo que se está mostrando ahí en la presentación, las diferentes, por supuesto, ventajas, y sobre todo en este caso el polietileno, al ser también en este caso el concepto de flexibilidad, extremadamente útiles versus otro tipo de soluciones. Seguimos con la siguiente slide, Bundy. Una de las ventajas, por supuesto, del material que utilizamos, y acá con mucho orgullo nosotros decimos que todo lo que fabricamos en todo lo que son las líneas de tubos y conexiones en polietileno son hechas utilizando la resina del PSN-RC. ¿Qué es el PSN-RC? Es hoy día la resina de más alto grado, de mayor características técnicas que existen dentro del mercado, para, por supuesto, poder estar frente a las demandas, sobre todo en obra. Sabemos que en obra se trabaja de una manera a veces algo agresiva y, por supuesto, necesitamos tuberías que estén, tubos y conexiones que estén a la altura, básicamente desde el punto de vista de la resistencia a por supuesto, al cracking lento, que es un fenómeno que se genera producto del punzonamiento generado en las trincheras o cuando efectivamente tenemos tuberías que están en directo contacto con el terreno. Bueno, el PSNRC es la resina de más alto estándar que hoy día existe dentro del mercado. AGRU, el 100% de sus tubos y sus fittings, sus conexiones, son fabricadas con esta materia prima y esto es una ventaja brutal desde el punto de vista de la vida útil. Y eso nos va a poder permitir desprendernos o dejar de depender de camas de arena o geotextiles. Eh, Seguimos con la siguiente. Eso, podemos pasarlo también, no es tan importante. Desde el punto de vista, bueno, de las vías útiles, bueno, la evaluación, por supuesto, desde la vía útil, una de las principales ventajas de las tuberías de AGRU, bueno, de todos los termoplásticos, pero básicamente cuando estamos hablando de polietileno, es asegurar que nuestras tubos y conexiones pueden trabajar a más de 100 años de vida útil. Obviamente somos una empresa con 77 años de vida, tenemos proyectos con menor, pero obviamente podemos hacer los testeos para poder extrapolar y poder proyectar vida útil de este tipo de sistemas. Podemos pasar más adelante ya directamente con no solo lo que tiene que ver con el transporte, irrigación, sino también el almacenamiento, y ahí vamos a poder presentar algunas soluciones específicamente con lo que son los sistemas de protección de concreto, nuestro famado Ultra Grip, que es un sistema de protección de concreto para estructuras que sufren de deformaciones, corrosión, algo bastante usual, no solo en la industria del agua, sino también en todo tipo de operación industrial que esté sometida a fluidos de alta corrosión. Siguiente slide, por favor. Ahí creo que se está conectando Daniel. Bueno, esto lo podemos pasar, lo podemos compartir más adelante, que son algunos casos de éxito que hemos desarrollado a nivel mundial, sobre todo en suministro de agua potable. Recordar que somos una empresa que tenemos presencia mundial, fábricas en Europa, bueno, 6 en Austria, Polonia, Alemania, 5 fábricas en Estados Unidos y también en China para el mercado local, y bueno, las filiales de las cuales soy responsable aquí en Sudamérica, como Brasil y Chile. Para poder fabricar todo este tipo de soluciones que estamos mencionando, podemos fabricar tuberías, tal como le mencionaba Daniel, hasta 3.5 metros. Somos bueno, el principal fabricante de tuberías de gran diámetro del mundo en tramos de hasta 600 metros, lo cual nos hace ser un fabricante un partner extremadamente valioso para proyectos industriales y de desalación, por supuesto, que ya tenemos activa presencia en Sudamérica. Ya directamente al sistema de protección de concreto que les mencionaba anteriormente, Esto es, es la línea de negocio que más crece dentro de AGRU y que más ha crecido dentro de AGRU en Sudamérica por más de 2 dígitos durante los últimos años en todos los países. Es una placa fabricada, extruida, calandrada, que tiene un sistema de anclajes insertos, anclajes, mejor dicho, insertos dentro de la placa, que obviamente nos permiten adherirnos al concreto al momento de ser obviamente aplicado al concreto y obviamente después curado, queda una estructura monolítica, de modo de darle a la estructura de concreto mayor robustez desde el punto de vista de la concentración química y temperatura. Podemos fabricar en espesores que van desde los 2 a los 12 metros, sin considerar el anclaje, por supuesto. El anclaje tiene una dimensión de 13 milímetros y podemos fabricar en placas de 4x2 o rollos de 50x2 metros en los diferentes termoplásticos que ahí se ven en la slide. ¿Por qué? Obviamente diferentes termoplásticos, diferentes materias primas, porque eso es lo que nos va a permitir poder trabajar ante diferentes fluidos que nos vamos a encontrar dentro del mercado. Esta, insisto, la solución que hoy día más crece en términos de vertical año a año y que también nos va a poder desarrollar una solución hermana dentro del sistema Ultra-Rig, que es el sistema HydroClick, que es una solución que hoy día utilizamos en muchísimos sistemas de estanques de agua potable, que tiene una increíble aplicabilidad, sobre todo en áreas residenciales, por ser extremadamente versátil, por podernos permitir revestir estructuras de concreto que potencialmente pueden estar sufriendo algún eh, algún problema generado por infiltraciones o corrosión, es posible revestirlas, darle una nueva vida útil. Esto no es una geomembrana, es un sistema con una resistencia al funcionamiento elevada y sobre todo una vida útil superior a los 25 años para las áreas de almacenamiento de agua potable. Siguiente slide, por favor. Bueno, ya metiéndonos un poco más en todo lo que es el área de tratamiento, obviamente también con nuestros sistemas de conexiones. Siguiente slide, por favor. Todo lo que tiene que ver con tratamientos de aguas residuales. Bueno, hay un proyecto que desarrollamos en Canadá, proyecto también en Mónaco. Este es un proyecto que, bueno, de hecho podemos compartirlo también posteriormente en nuestro chat o a través de las diferentes canales de comunicación. El de Mónaco que presentaba anteriormente con tuberías de 2.500 milímetros, 2.5 metros, o el sistema, este es un proyecto que recientemente finalizamos, también junto a un proyecto en Nueva Zelanda, el revestimiento de todo lo que son el revestimiento de estructuras de concreto con nuestro sistema Ultra Deep para darle una nueva vida útil o poder repararlos y por supuesto extender, porque ya sabemos las complicaciones que tiene el concreto, sobre todo a nivel de corrosión, de desarrollo de microorganismos, de infiltraciones y de rigidez que la hace extremadamente complejo. Siguiente slide, por favor. Bueno, ya a nivel industrial, tenemos ya también una serie de soluciones, sobre todo en hidrógeno verde. A ver, una industria que está todavía en pañales en la región. Obviamente está muy alineada al desarrollo de energías renovables no convencionales, que sobre todo en algunos países de Sudamérica está con mayor fuerza. Chile, afortunadamente, tiene más del 30% de su matriz energética en renovables no convencionales, por lo tanto lo hace un excelente candidato para desarrollar hidrógeno verde. Pero lo bueno es que hoy día AGRU es el único fabricante que hoy día ya tiene la certificación de hidrógeno verde, que le va a permitir poder trabajar a las temperaturas y presiones que el transporte de hidrógeno verde solicita. Por lo tanto, para los proyectos que estén ya en ingeniería, porque hoy día proyectos a gran escala no tenemos, pero los proyectos que estén en ingeniería, podemos ser un partner muy, muy interesante y valioso. No solo desde el punto de vista del transporte, sino también del almacenamiento, de la producción en sí. Sabemos que la generación y, digamos, todo el transporte de hidrógeno verde trasciende a varias aplicaciones, por lo tanto, nosotros estamos ahí, sin duda podemos ser un partner estratégico. Bueno, otro mercado en el cual estamos también muy presentes es el de data centers y de electroconductores. Estamos bastante fuertes, sobre todo desarrollando las tuberías y conexiones que solicitan para ese tipo de demandas técnicas desde el punto de vista del enfriamiento y, por supuesto, también poder resistir los cambios de temperatura y presión que se solicitan. Nosotros tenemos también todo lo que es nuestra línea de tubos y conexiones con certificación FM, Factory Mutual, que toda planta industrial debería tener, una certificación que muy pocas empresas tienen. Nosotros todo el suministro, tanto en métrico como en medidas imperiales, tenemos dicha certificación, además de las certificaciones asociadas, por supuesto, a alimentos y bebidas, que no va al caso de mencionar, pero es importante, sobre todo desde el punto de vista, digamos, de ser un referente a nivel industrial, también tenemos. Siguientes slides, por favor. Esto lo podemos también pasar, que básicamente lo engloba desde el punto de vista de ser un referente desde el punto de vista también del diseño. Ahí quizás también mencionar que nosotros tenemos toda nuestra biblioteca BIM. Ahí volvió Daniel. Daniel, here we are. But we handle.
Hello.
We handle it.
So
yes. As Elaine was
you
saying,
handled
we
it.
activated
That's very
Plan
good.
B.
So
Yeah. No, we're a team. We're a team.
okay.
So no, I was just telling everyone about our different solutions, our ultra grip about the different solutions in transmission of different type of fluids, also for sewage treatment, for of course for industrial applications. So also was telling a little bit about the semiconductors and the data center industry that is
Data
growing a
center,
lot,
yeah.
and also about our
Yeah.
green hydrogen. So just go on with the rest of the slides, please.
Perfect. Okay, great. Maybe can you go one slide back? Then I can start with maybe some words to the data centers again. So yeah, maybe that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, actually, the data centers, it's a growing field of application where we also see that plastics demand for piping will grow. The cooling in this case is very important because the rack power density is getting more and more, and traditional air-cooled systems, they are not suitable anymore. The new systems, they require much higher cooling power. So everything goes from air-cooled to liquid-cooled. And also what is going on is that everything goes into closed loop systems, because if you use open systems, open channel systems, you would lose a lot of water into the atmosphere. You have a lot of water loss. So everything goes to liquid cooling in closed loops. So we see a demand on growth, especially for plastics piping in this field. So next slide, please. You can easily go to the next slide. So in a traditional data center, you will have three different cooling loops. The first cooling loop is from the cooling towers, which are either standing on the one side of the building or on the rooftop, to the chiller. So that's the first cooling loop. Then the second cooling loop is from the chiller to the data hall, and then in the data hall you have a third cooling loop where you usually use a DI water or a purified water. Yeah, and in all these three cooling loops you can use or should use plastics products. Why? Cleanness is very important, durability is very important, and also easy maintenance and purity. That's a very important thing in this case. Yeah, and we see a lot of projects going on in this case. Okay, so next slide, please. That's a very interesting project we have done in Poland for the data center industry, and in Europe, also in the US, in Asia, you see a lot of projects going on. Okay, next slide. What is a growing field, not only for data centers, but also for also what we see in the semiconductor industry, and also what I tried to explain before when we speak about desalination projects. This is welding outside the project. That means offsite we call it off-site manufacturing. So that means we take the piping, we take the fittings, weld it in our workshop, prefabricate it, put it onto a rack, put it into the container, and ship it right away to the different project sites. What is the advantage here? You don't have to weld the pipe work on your project site. You just have to connect it maybe with through flanges or make some simple welds, and you are much faster and much cleaner in the installation process. Okay, yeah, that's something what brings me back to the beginning of our talk. I was explaining that AGRU is not only focusing on plastics products. We are now always try to offer complete solutions to the customers. That means we try to assist the customer through the design and planning phase of the project. So for example, if you are planning a new desalination plant, we can support you, give you the CAD files of the piping system. We can give you the library for BIM modeling. We can help you in the design phase, give you design support. We will do pipe stress analysis because that's a very important thing for you for the operation of the plant. Material selection is also very important. Going back to the chlorination line, it's very important to select the proper material. So if you use polypropylene as a chlorination line above 40 degrees Celsius, you will have problems. So we are trying to give you an advice which material works best for which chemical, for which process condition. Yeah. And then finally, what we are also trying to do, we try to help you in the installation process. We can support you with the welding equipment, with the different, we provide supervision support at the job site. We can send our welders to the job site, and what was discussed today quite often is this prefabrication capability, and so we are trying to give you solutions as much as possible. Okay, so that's it. That was our talk. I'm glad that Francisco he helped out, and I'm very sorry for the bad internet connection. It seems that Francisco, in your location, it worked out quite nicely, but
yeah, incredibly, yes. Nevertheless, I'm quite far away in the middle of Brazil in this moment, but it worked well. So no problem. We are a team, and we can handle it. So
perfect.
Thank you again. I think we have a couple of questions. Yes, maybe Elaine Gundi that we can bring for Daniel, or if there's any questions. Oh yeah, Laura made a question there.
Okay. So
what
okay.
are I'm sorry, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. The first question is from Laura Cabrera. What are the current and future challenges in the water industry, and how can plastic help?
Okay, so Francisco, would you like to do it, or should I do it? I'm happy to answer. So maybe Francisco, you can also then add some points from your side. So it's
absolutely. Tomando la pregunta, Laura, muchas gracias. Yes. Yeah, please.
Okay, so in my opinion, there are a few challenges for the water industry. Most importantly, and that's also the topic of the presentation today, it's to keep the water clean and to prevent water losses. We are discussing with a lot of customers throughout the world, and what we always hear is that the water infrastructure, it's getting old. It needs to be repaired. It needs to be maintained. there is increased water loss, there is increased leakage. There are impurification coming into the water, and that's something, in my opinion, where plastics products can really help. Because if you do new installations of, for example, a pipeline, a water pipeline, yeah, we have seen through our presentation that the lifetime is over 50 years, so you will have no maintenance, you will have a clean water, you will have a loss-free water pipeline for 50 years, and I think that's something what really helps the business, what helps to reduce the costs also in the water infrastructure. That's one thing. And what I also believe is, not only when you do new installations, but also, for example, if you do pipeline rehabilitation, yeah, plastics products can also help, because we have those products to make proper rehabilitation of pipelines, of sewage channels, and so I think the solutions are there, and we are happy to to assist in the project. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. I don't know, Francisco, want to add something right now, or we can move on to the next question?
No. I stick 100% to Daniel's response. Me adhiero 100% a la respuesta de Daniel. Los desafíos, a ver, los proyectos de ingeniería que nos está tocando ver en el día de hoy, cada vez más grande en la demanda de agua, enfocándonos claramente, si el objetivo sería enfocarnos en proyectos de desalación, los proyectos de agua son cada vez más importantes. Además, del punto de vista medioambiental, también tratar de desarrollarlos en zonas donde quizás el emplazamiento es más complejo, por lo tanto se necesitan soluciones que sean flexibles, adaptables, rápidas de instalar, asegurando una vida útil extensa, y eso es donde nosotros podemos ser un partner estratégico y donde los termoplásticos, bueno, han ganado por eso tanta ventaja en el último tiempo. Por lo tanto, me adhiero 100% a la respuesta de Daniel.
Excelente, muchísimas gracias, Francisco. Let's move to the next question. We have Pablo Ramos, and he wants to know what has to be done to see even more plastic solution in the desalination industry.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question, not a simple answer. What I believe is that there is always a question of OPEX and CAPEX. And this is always what we hear when we speak with customers. Some of the projects, especially in the desalination business, some of the big planning companies, they want to hear low OPEX, low CAPEX. Yeah, that's very important. I think what we have to do as engineers and also as advocates of plastics products, we need to speak with the owners of the desalination plants. We need to speak with the governments. We need to convince them. We need to educate them. We need to tell them that please invest a bit more money in the beginning, in the investment of the project, and you will have really a lot of saving throughout the lifetime of the plant. Yeah. So you will have reduced OPEX, and you will have a safer plant. You will have cleaner water on the other side if you use technically feasible, technically excellent products. Yeah, and so we need to really speak with owners, the governments, the planners, the engineering companies, the EPC contractors, and we need to educate them. So that's, in my opinion, the most important thing. And last but not least, of course, when we have projects, we need to work closely with the installation companies, and that they are really doing an excellent job with our products. So the welding, the installation, we also have seen bad installation of plastics piping. And if you do plastics piping, if you don't install it correctly, you will have issues. The same with metals. Yeah. So we need to closely work with the installers, with those companies, and I think then we will see more and more excellent plastics solutions. Yeah.
Awesome.
Totalmente de acuerdo contigo. Totally agree with you, Daniel. Sorry, Gundy, I was just trying to support Daniel's response, pero sí, totalmente de acuerdo y lo complemento. A ver, y en Sudamérica, ¿cómo podemos allanar el camino? Bueno, esto es un esfuerzo de todos y probablemente esta pregunta se lo hubiéramos hecho a las empresas que empujaban la desalación hace 20 años, se hubieran encontrado en la misma posición que nosotros todavía nos encontramos tratando de implementar soluciones en termoplástico. Obviamente existe una resistencia en muchos casos natural de la ingeniería. Yo vengo personalmente trabajando en el mundo de los termoplásticos hace ya casi 10 años y es increíble. Si bien hay, que se han hecho grandes avances, todavía la resistencia que existe ante el uso de los termoplásticos versus el concreto, la fibra de vidrio, el acero. Afortunadamente nosotros estamos reduciendo ese gap, no solo, como bien decía Daniel, apoyando a las ingenierías. Mencionamos en la presentación acerca de nuestras soluciones en biblioteca BIM, con los plugins que los podemos entregar para que puedan diseñar sus sistemas de transmisión, sino también con los instaladores. Los instaladores juegan un rol clave porque puedes tener la mejor solución del mundo, pero si efectivamente tu solución no queda bien instalada, se genera obviamente un mal sabor de boca y el que termina siendo afectado es efectivamente la solución final, que en este caso nuestros sistemas de polietileno, polipropileno o las diferentes soluciones a nivel industrial que tenemos. Entonces, es un esfuerzo, digamos, transversal de la industria, ingeniería, fabricantes, instaladores. Afortunadamente, tenemos también instituciones como Aladir que nos ayudan a empujar a crear masa crítica, a desarrollar conocimiento adecuado. Hace poco tuvimos un evento en España, el apagón, que se generó también, ahí estuvimos también en el chat de Aladir, cómo se empezaron digamos, a levantar los chivos expiatorios. Bueno, la verdad esto nos pasa también en la industria de los termoplásticos, la industria de desalación lo ha sufrido, la industria de desalación ha hecho un gran esfuerzo por masificar el acceso a agua, y nosotros estamos haciendo exactamente lo mismo para hacer de todo lo que es el proceso de desalación, tratamiento, reuso, una tecnología más abordable, más económica y de más largo plazo. Así que eso, la verdad es que agradecerles a todos, agradecerles Bundy y a Lane y a Rayil por darnos el espacio. Ha sido, la verdad es que una instancia espectacular. También agradecerle a Daniel por estar con nosotros desde Austria. Allá son casi las 5 de la tarde, así que les agradecemos su disponibilidad para el día de hoy estar con nosotros. Y bueno, afortunadamente ahí en el chat de Aladir seguiremos y también en las discusiones. Pronto se vienen una serie de eventos a nivel en Sudamérica que nosotros como AGRU estaremos presentes, así que encantados de poder transmitir, de traspasar los casos de éxito, de ayudarlos en toda la ingeniería, como decíamos en la presentación, desde el punto inicial hasta efectivamente ya la instalación. Podemos estar presentes y ser un partner de valor en toda la cadena. Así que, Gundi, nuevamente gracias. Daniel, I was reinforcing your point about the role of how we're involved with the engineers, the installers, and also thanking you for your time today on this webinar. So really appreciate moving forward. Probably new questions will arise, and I will let you know. And for sure, also some congratulations for your outstanding presentation. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Francisco. So I think you did half of the work, or more than half of the work today. So glad to have you.
No worries. We're a team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, actually, we are short of
Absolutely.
time right now, so we don't have any question right now. Of course, if somebody in the audience has more questions, we can serve as a bridge, and we can make the connection with Daniel or Francisco. So you can let us know the question, and we'll create the connection. Okay. So right now, thank you.
More than welcome.
Once again, thank you for being with us today. We are delighted to have you, and thank you for this great presentation. We are also grateful to our entire
Absolutely.
network for joining us. And I would like to take this short opportunity to invite you to visit our website where you will find information on upcoming webinars event and the Aladir 2025 Congress, especially our upcoming Congress in August 6th and 7th in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and another exclusive event for our Aladir members on August 28th in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Okay, so if you need more information, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us through the website. Okay, thank you again for participating. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Gundi.
Daniel.
You
Francisco.
too.
Okay.
Cheers. All the best.
Thank you.
Take
Cheers.
care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Gracias.
Bye bye.
Gracias a todos. Un abrazo.